right, all right. There you go, rock and roll, there you go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cecil Younger. I'm coming to you here live and in color from Soundview TV. And I hope to God that you will hear what I have to say and take it very seriously, because the grace of God could be you next. And so what I'm going to present to you is a lot of evidence that I've been presenting for the last 5 shows that I've had here, which confirm the fact that the city of Bridgeport unjustly terminated me because of my whistleblowing complaint. And as someone who's been out there in the community for the last 6 years, you know, I take it hard for me to just sit down and let somebody violate my rights, especially when it comes to issues that concern our public and our concerns in our neighborhoods. So I want to show you some exhibits here showing that the city of Bridgeport lied and covered up their termination on me. And here you will see here a letter that will be played, that will be read, explaining to you what the city of Bridgeport did pertaining to me being terminated. They said I was terminated because I had not returned to work. Now, could you please read that reflection letter?
The letter is from the Department of Health and Social Services. Dear Mr. Young, you were advised via a letter from Labor Relations dated 3/10/2006 that you must return to work immediately, or you will be deemed to have voluntarily resigned your position as a security guard with the city of Bridgeport. As of Friday, March 17, 2006, you have not returned to work. There is no valid reason for your absence, therefore your absence is considered unauthorized and your employment with the city is hereby terminated effective immediately. If you have any questions, please call your union representative. The letter was written by Marion Evans, Director of Health and Social Services.
And Jody Paul, who also sent a copy. And you know what's so sad about this letter being sent out the way it was sent out? I have audio tape of Dr. Evans, who I recorded at the time when I came to work, because I had the feeling that they were going to terminate me because of me speaking out about the terminated dirt piles. Because I had been being harassed for several months after that. I made a complaint about the dirt piles where they had cut my hours halfway down. And because of that, I continued to get me an attorney, try to get some kind of justice. And as a result of that, they ended up stacking the deck on me. But what's so beautiful about this is that I have audio tapes that I recorded unbeknown to Dr. Evans and Jody Paul confirming that they knew physically that I was at work. You will hear me say to Dr. Evans. But before I go into that, I'm going to play a little bit of Dr. King's in terms of his dream and what he was all about and what I feel like I need to be about in terms of keeping his issues known before the public in terms of how we are what we are because of how we are. I'll give you a little excerpt of that now from Dr. King, as well as several other artists that was on there at the time, giving you a little reminiscence. I'll return now. Here we go. Sorry about the delay. Sometimes that happens. Something ain't happening here. Misunderstanding, why we stagnated, we don't know.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. 50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. And so we've come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital.
All right, we're now going to go into part two. I don't want to play the whole thing right now because we have so much here to put forward as exhibits, so we're just going to play the next sound effect that we had on the studio. That should be playing it. Just play that there. Press number 2. Sorry about this here situation here, y'all. We usually don't have it like this, going like this, but for some reason or another we seem to be stagnated, which don't make no sense because we already had it down packed, but the devil is always in the midst of things, so that's what this is happening right now. But the bottom line is that I'm going to be showing you evidence of Dr. Evans in the city of Bridgeport illegally violating my civil rights
I am happy.
by acting like they had no idea that I came to work, when in essence both of them knew fully well that I was at work, because the evidence of that on my recorders that I recorded from them. I have a recording of Dr. Evans, and I also have a recording of Jody Paul. It just don't make no sense that Jody Paul and Dr. Evans could literally give the impression, and also the city attorney, what's her name, Janine Hawkins, the labor relations director at the time, could give the impression to Councilman Newton, who had requested the status of my termination, and they gave the impression by writing a letter to the U.S. Attorney's Office telling them that they need to disregard my complaint as invalid, as unjustifiable, as I was just a disgruntled employee, when that was nowhere near the case. And here it is today, I have evidence on audio tape confirming the fact that they were fully aware of the fact that I was at work, because they gave me permission to come to work, and they paid me to come to work. Here's a time card here. Here's a pay stub showing that I got paid. Here's doctor's notes requesting that they denied me because I had first asked for a medical leave of absence. I had asked for a medical leave of absence because I knew that they was getting ready to try to fire me. So instead of me losing my 27 and a half years of service, okay, because I wasn't 55 at the time, I had to go along with the program in order to keep that benefits coming flowing for me. So basically they ended up terminating me in the long run, but I ended up taking it to court, and they ended up stacking the deck on me with the labor board commissioners, who have evidence showing where they committed fraud and violated my civil rights. I also want to prove also too on that same day, that March 16th, I had also got married, and here's Paul Ganem, the judge of probate court, who married me and my wife at the day, who was put on my insurance policy on the day in question. This day in question was the date that they said that I was terminated for not coming to work. How could I have been terminated for not coming to work and she be put on my insurance policy? Here's our marriage certificate showing that that was the case. But for them to sit there and to lie on the public like that and to think they can get away with it is a shame and a disgrace. And the excuse they used was saying that my doctor's name, his signature, was unillegible. Unillegible. Unillegible meaning what? That's the way doctors write. And what's so sad about it, here's Dr. Evans now. Put your mic. Put your mic. Put your mic to it. See, it's a little hard to understand what you're saying because we're kind of like a pulled apart from each other. But if you basically will request a CD, a copy of this, I will be willing to give you a copy of it, which you can hear yourself personally clearly by a better sound system and much more in a way where you can understand the words that are being said because we're speaking kind of a distance. But you will also hear me during the conversation request from Dr. Evans again. Dr. Evans, is it okay? I'm here against my doctor's will. Is it okay? Said I'll be leaving at 10:30. You will hear her remark. Her remark will be yes. Oh, no, I don't want you to leave, but if you leave, I'm not going to pay you for it. I said, you don't have to pay me for it. Here it is now. See, these were about contaminated dirt piles. That's what this was about that they're talking about. These are contaminated dirt piles that were left at the City of Bridgeport Health Department, and kids were playing on top of these dirt piles. And as a result of me complaining at that time, State Rep Ernest Newton, who had said he would look into it on my behalf and follow up on it for me, which he really never really did, other than just doing a photo op. But one time down at the city council, his friend George Cruz asked him if he became elected again as councilman, would he raise that issue? Well, he raised the issue to Janet, the labor relations director at the time, and she gave the impression that I'm a disgruntled employee. And as a disgruntled employee, okay, she tried to make it look like I'm the troublemaker and I'm an agitator. So as a result of me going to the council every month for the last year and a half, since April 18th of last year, I've been denied the right to speak at City Hall. I've been denied the right to speak at City Hall, and they say, why? Why am I being denied the right to speak at City Hall? Because of me using. Now we'll put on Jody Paul, Labor Relations Director. I think you just got to press the button on. I'll press it. We're sorry about all this here operation here being thrown off the way it is right now. It usually shouldn't have happened the way it's happening right now, but the double has a way in getting between things. But nevertheless, the bottom line is here's Ernest Newton. Here are his letters. Here's Jody Paul, Labor Relations Director, on March 16th. No, at a hearing pertaining to my medical benefits. It's hard to understand part of what she's saying right now because she's speaking fast, but you will hear her very clearly claim that I came to work for an hour and a half and I left. The bottom line is the letter said I was terminated for not coming to work. Now what was it? Either I was terminated for not coming to work or either I came in for an hour and a half and I left. Then she will use the excuse your hours was supposed to be from 9 to 5. My hours were 9 to 5 in the beginning, but when I complained about the dirt pile, they cut them down to 20 hours. Okay, in order to keep my benefits, but they wanted to get back at me because she was told by a number of officials, Dr. Evans, he made you look like a fool. What are you going to do about it, Dr. Evans? That is also on the audio tape. And here is the labor board who covered up.
return to work. That's what she keeps on saying. She keeps saying I was terminated for not returning to work. There's evidence to show that that was not the case, that I did return to work. There's evidence to show that I did notify that I was leaving before the start of the shift, as well as the things that I said that I would be leaving. So I don't have that to the phone to tell you that. They have no evidence showing anything that I was saying that other than they just show me what she's saying to cover up the injustice.
That's my signature, and that's my supervisor's signature on that date, showing that I was at work. She signed off on it, my supervisor. And here's the check stub. And here are the 5 doctor's notes that they kept saying that my doctor's notes were strips of paper, literally straps of paper. That's what the state auditor said. And the reason why they said that was because they're getting kickbacks. But if you go to Soundview, you can get all of the different shows that I've been on, which will explain to you more in specific terms, basically what I've been saying. Don't leave it. That's Mike Cohad saying, and the question was, Commissioner, he was the one who voted, agreed with Mr. Murphy that the city was justifiable in firing me. He lied under oath, and that's why I said Mr. Murphy should be charged with fraud along with Mr. Weiner for basically doing the kickback. This is all evidence, y'all. I told all of the above, they can sue me if anything I said here cannot be backed up, cannot be proven. They've done this to me, and there go the grace of God, they can do it to you, and we need to do something about it. We should not let this happen. Here you go, Gerald Weiner, Chairman of the Labor Board, Albert Murphy, Chairman of the Labor Board, Mike Cohad. These were all state appointed officials. No, leave it. This is my union.
Is that the fact? Because the thing said, you were writing another March 10th that you have to come back to work, and after Friday the 17th, you haven't come back, and you did go back. Well, it was an hour later, you go back on the 16th, and they're sending a letter on the 20th, saying, tell them to come back to work this week. That's the fact.
On the 20th. And this is my union rep speaking on my behalf that the City of Bridgeport Labor Relations Director lied on and said that the union agreed with her. And you want to read the union's letter? In a few minutes. see what's so sad about it, she keep on trying to justify her actions, changing the story, saying, oh, you did come in, but you came in for an hour and a half and you left. Well, I was supposed to only work 3 hours that day, because they cut my hours in half to 20 hours instead of 35. So I was only supposed to work 3 hours that day, and they knew that. What was sad is that my doctor had asked for a mental relief time for me to be able to stay out for that month, and they denied me to staying out for that month. And as a result of that, okay, I was ended up getting terminated because they were saying that my doctor's note was literally strips of paper as a way of covering up the crime. And I say it's a shame and a disgrace that a taxpayer, a homeowner, a community activist like myself can be treated like a slave. You know, you talk about 12 years a slave. Well, I got 17 years of being treated like a slave. And it's been treated like a slave by people that look like you and me, and they did it with a pen instead of with a rope. They did it with a pen instead of with a rope. Why did they lynch me the way they lynched me? Why did they come against me the way they came against me? You say Black Lives Matter. Well, I'm black. And I'm saying, where are our black elected officials? Where are our leaders? Where are our consuls? I went to the city council a number of times. What I got to do, get arrested in order for them to get news in the paper about what they did to me? If it was a white man that was violated from a year time of not being allowed to speak in a public place after they pay taxes, there would be all kind of news coverage. There would be all kind of press stories being printed about this person who was a whistleblower being denied the right to be heard, being denied the right for evidence to come forward like it should have came forward. And I was set up by my attorney even as well, Attorney John Williams. He flip-flamed me. He said he would represent me like he represented himself. He never once showed up in court. The people he sent to court, I only met that same day. They flammed me, they scammed me, they set me up. And they set me up because these people are very powerful. They are very powerful. Cheryl Wayner, he's an attorney, a civil rights attorney. Mike Cohad, Albert Murphy. These people got power on the state level. Okay, but they violate my rights as John Doe, Cecil Young, in the hood. And I'm saying to you, shame on them. And I'm calling on you, the public, to help me. Call the press, call whoever you got to call, and tell them what they did to me. Tell them to look at Soundview TV. Download Soundview TV. Go to YouTube and look at Cecil Young at Green Homes and Community Policing. I've given myself all my life for our people, for this city, black and white, Puerto Rican, Jew, and what have you. And it's a shame that I can be persecuted in 2023. Shame on those of them that are allowing this injustice to take place. It's got to stop. Today is me, tomorrow is you. We say, are we in America? Are we in Russia? This is not a communist state. This is the United States of America. And I am an American citizen. And I'm saying I want my rights protected. Protect me. If you can go across the seas and hire other foreign lands and protect them, protect me, a taxpayer, a homeowner, someone who cares about black and white, right and wrong. Thank you for hearing my message. And I hope you pick up the phone and call me. If you like a CD that I got here, and because it's a good CD, and I'm going to play it next week for you if you didn't get this the way I wanted to give it to you today, because it's beautiful music and you need to hear it. It's from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He is the man with the plan, and he's in my hand because God told him to help me shed this water back upon the seas for it flood us out. Thank you. Until the next time.